everybody. This is Dillon with you tonight for tonight's podcast. This is number 28. I can't believe we've got all 28 episodes so far. We're having such a great time. We have an awesome show for you tonight. We'll get to our guests in just a couple minutes. I wanted to introduce my co-host, Roman. He's, again, sitting in for Issac Israel. Who knows where Issac is?
Who knows where Issac is?
Yeah, who knows? As I said earlier, this is going to be a great night tonight. Yeah. So, but before I get to Roman, let me just do a couple things. I wanted to give a shout out to the folks at Asian Cultural TV that we're associated with and who's hosting our podcasts. And also, the podcast tonight is brought to you by Tickle Me Comedy and the Blue Zone Comedy Tour. So with that, let me go over here to my sidekick Roman for tonight. Hey Roman, how are you tonight?
What's going on? Good.
Nice.
Excited to be here. Got these
Don't
two
look at all excited.
Tell your face. Two This is my 9th one. You haven't even started.
I know, we're out of control.
Hey,
We haven't even started yet.
Here I am again.
Yeah. Weren't we just
Phil
here?
got in trouble and in jail. Hasn't been here in weeks.
Or what did you say? He said that.
Sex trafficking.
But the Filipino
what?
buffet.
Oh, you're going off the rails already. What is Phil?
Oh, okay.
So
You'd understand.
So since our last episode, what have you been doing? Anything fun?
No, just working, homeschooling,
Sleeping, napping a
drinking.
lot.
Right? What's today? Working out. What's today?
We don't know.
Oh, you're gonna beat me up here. Yeah, all right.
It's going to be a wild show. I can hardly wait. Do you want to introduce our guests?
Don't oversell
He
it.
doesn't know who we are.
I watched 30 minutes of YouTube before I came over here. And how dare you?
You know what's
How
true about
dare
See,
you?
now he's awake.
No.
Now
Yeah.
he's awake.
Yeah.
The drugs are
Nice
kicking
in my
in.
back already.
Go ahead.
Happening.
Go ahead. Who are we?
Huh?
You don't even know.
Yeah.
Introduce us already.
Go
Go
for it.
ahead.
You.
No, you.
Go for it.
Okay. So we got Brian McKim.
Yes.
And
Kim, M-C-K-I-M.
that's what I said. And
He said
Traci's-
N.
You said N.
McKim.
I did.
Brian McKim.
Okay, good.
Brian McKim.
I'm very attuned to that.
Hey,
Okay, I like
one letter
that.
makes a big difference.
Yes.
I know.
Tickle Me Comedy Club Productions. Gentlemen and ladies out there. The finest. The finest.
Ben headlines a room. You don't even know his
my
name.
God.
All right, who am I? Who am I?
You are Traci.
And Skene.
That's right.
Yeah,
Skene.
see, and it would be very different if you call me Traci Skene. See,
right.
one
I
letter
know,
makes
one letter
difference.
makes it all,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm the
I'm
N, he's the
sweating.
M. Brian
I'm
McKim,
sweating
Traci
right
Skene. Here we
I
are.
have to admit, I've never seen your comedy, and
Well,
I'm
you're missing
rely-
out.
I know, right?
You may never see
mine
it
either.
again.
Well, I don't think I'm missing out, but that's
Look,
okay.
Huh? All right, I want to talk to the.
Hey, you know, Hulk Hogan
And you know
was
what's
barely
good is
awake.
like, her
What?
crowd work is so, she's already doing it.
I know, right?
This is what she does on stage.
Is it really?
So I should have mentally prepared when I was watching. I was like, oh shoot.
Mentally, but yeah, like,
Now I know if
sucking
somebody
down
does
Corona.
crowd work this well, I gotta come with my A game.
Okay, that's true.
All right. See,
That's
now
true.
you could have told me this sooner, right?
Oh yeah,
I
her
could
crowd
have
work
prepared.
is, yeah.
One letter makes such a difference.
It does. It does.
So I in the bio that they sent me, they said that you guys have been working together. You're husband and wife, right?
Yes, that's why we're sharing one cup. In the days of COVID, we have to tell everybody that
we live in the same
we
pod.
live in the same pod.
Yes.
Yes.
They live in a pod.
Well, no, that's what they say. Well, that's what they call families now, pods.
That's true.
Yes,
That's right.
Yeah.
And it said that you guys have been doing comedy for 30 years.
Actually, what's
Longer.
today's date? The 15th?
We don't know. I don't know when this is airing.
Close.
Something.
Well, we don't know what date it is, but it's very close to my anniversary, my first time on stage.
Wow.
Yes, 1981, middle October
Yeah.
of 1981.
He's
Tell us
coming
about
up
it. Tell us
on
about your
almost
first time on stage.
I went on stage, dressed as an 8-foot crayon, and I did 5 minutes of crayon jokes. Things like, we were so poor we were little, there were 64 of us in one box, things like that. And I did 5 minutes of crayon jokes, and I did that 10 weeks in a row at the open mic on Wednesday night, the Fabulous Comedy Works at Philadelphia. May it rest in peace.
May it rest in peace.
And then
All of 'em.
I went on stage as a, bang! That's for the boys in production. I went on stage dressed as a normal human being, as normal as you could be in 1982, and the rest is history.
Nice. And when did Miss
Skene.
Skene come into it?
We started dating 1984, and then he talked me into doing comedy in 1985.
Really?
Yeah. So he wanted an opening act,
Yeah.
Of course, I headlined the Tickle Me Comedy
That's right.
because it's been a long time. Yeah, so he talked me into doing stand-up.
And so again, I don't know what your format is, but you do married jokes?
No, we don't work together.
We work. I mean, we don't perform on stage
Oh, I
together.
thought-
No.
I should've- I should've.
As we always say when we're on stage, it's the only time we get away from each other.
Okay.
So it's like bathroom breaks and on stage, and that's it. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever be a team.
I
It's
had
nice to
a-
get half the money. It doesn't
I
make
had
any
a whole
sense.
set of married jokes.
Well, I do married jokes.
I have a
so,
whole set of married jokes. too.
Yeah, we
Oh,
do
cool.
married jokes, but usually when we work together, it's like I'll do married jokes, but I won't say who I'm married to, and then he'll do the married jokes, and he won't say who he's married to, and then at the end he'll tell the crowd, and then say rotten things about me.
I was looking for a Stellar and Mira night.
Oh, well,
wow.
they're great. I mean, I love comedy teams, but we've just never
Okay.
done it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
I
should've
don't know.
watched-
You know why? Because when you have a comedy team, to be a successful comedy team, you have to have a straight man.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually comedy teams sort of develop
What I'm
organically.
trying to say.
Well, what I'm saying is neither one of us wants to be the straight man. We can't. We're both like individual comics. We're
Right.
used
Yeah.
to delivering the joke.
We're spoiled.
So until we figure out a way that you can have two non-straight men, I guess, in comedy,
Right, yeah.
it's like, I don't know.
And it'd
Can't
be
do
really
it.
hard to, a guy dressed like a crayon to be the straight man, right?
We'd have to bring that back.
Oh.
I don't know. That would be awesome,
Have the
though.
suit?
That would be awesome.
You should bring it out.
Just as a very
For the
deadpan
anniversary,
comedian.
should have brought it
I
out.
don't have the cowling that
He
has
still
the
has the-
point.
you
but I
still
do
have the costume,
I have
don't
the
you?
suit
You
itself.
should
Yeah, he has
do
the
that.
suit.
I think that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
I wish there was
It
videotape
was
of
the
it,
worst.
but
It was the
so
worst
long
material in the
ago,
world.
81, people were just like sketching. I don't even
but
think
that's-
there was like
That's what I love. Like
video.
I actually went through some of your jokes, and that it was on. We put it on YouTube 10 years ago. But the material, the jokes that you had, I've seen certain comedians actually. I don't want to say steal or take. And I know about parallel thinking.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
But they were. He had like 3 jokes where I'm like, whoa, I just heard this last
Oh,
year.
boy. I better
Oh,
take those
boy.
down. People will think I'm stealing.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, the
That's
thing
the
is,
problem
the
these
date,
days.
the date certifies you because you put it out there
Yeah.
so much earlier.
Well, there was a comic, and you probably won't know him. His name is Gary Muledeer. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
I do,
Gary
yes.
Muledeer. He did 1,000 Carsons and stuff. I mean, he was one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Still around.
And he's still around.
Is
Yeah,
he?
he's
He
still
must be,
doing
like,
stand-up,
really
but he's been doing it for so long. I was older than me, and I'm old, so he's been doing it for so long that he said he now gets accused of stealing his own jokes. That's how long it's been, because now they sort of just become part of the culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the longer you hang in there, the more you're gonna hear your stuff.
Well, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen in 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the exact same, but it was.
40 years.
And I can't say it because the jokes that you said back
Don't
then,
say.
you can't say now.
Ah!
But I went wild.
He probably still
Well.
does.
I'm
I'm
outlaw,
sure he
baby.
does.
Don't go near UNLV because I got chastised by
Did
the
you
crowd
really?
there.
Well, we haven't done colleges in a
Oh,
long
hell, I
time
wouldn't
because
go near
people are.
college.
I wouldn't go anywhere near
No
college
way.
these days. People are just
Oh,
way
they're
too
too
sensitive.
restrictive.
I think the last time, actually, with a college, is I got turned down for a college gig because the committee said that I was anti-woman.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is where we've come
Well, the
to.
crowd work
okay.
is funny.
Whatever.
Like, cause like
Oh,
you're the
well.
first comedian I've ever seen ask a woman what her weight was.
They
Right?
always
And I'm
tell
like,
me. They tell
oh,
me. They always tell me.
I know they do.
They always tell me. They tell me anything. It's a weird.
Well, in all
thing.
fairness, you do pick somebody who is usually under $110.
Sometimes I haven't, and they
Yeah.
still tell me.
They say that.
People will tell me anything when I'm up on stage.
That's
I have to use my power for good and not evil.
Absolutely.
Because I can
Sure.
get people to tell me anything.
That's right.
It's very weird. Very weird.
It's good.
I'm looking forward to seeing you.
You know how many
Well, I won't be.
Yeah,
in
I
line.
know. I'm looking forward to being on stage. It's been 7 months.
I'm looking forward to being seen.
I've never gone this long
So
ever
your-
in my life.
Your guys' crowd work, is that just practice?
But you know, the crowd work thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny thing. I always tell people, if you want to do crowd work, there's actually kind of like more of an art or science to it than you think there is. You can't just go out there and just say, I'm going to talk to the crowd, because you could have terrible, boring people in the crowd, and it's
Yeah.
going to go nowhere.
So,
So I always sort of tell people, if you're going to do that, and I might as well give away my secrets because I'm not working now anyway. It's kind of like if you have, let's say you have marriage material. If you're going to do crowd work, ask who's married, and then try to get something out of that, because then if it doesn't work, you can always just pull back and go into your marriage material. See,
sure.
the reason people get themselves in trouble doing crowd work because they'll just come up with a subject and then they've got no out at all. And if it
Yeah,
goes
Especially if
badly,
they hit a
then they're
dead
just
spot
kind of
in the
like,
audience.
okay, who else is here?
Yeah.
Where are
That
my
has-
Italian friends? You know, and they just like, they panic.
That hasn't been one of my strong suits so far. I haven't done enough crowd work. I've hosted a couple times, and it wasn't really. I need to do more.
Well, only do it if you're good at it.
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah.
you don't have to do it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's almost like,
Think
doing
of it,
song
popular.
parodies or juggling or, being deadpan. I mean, it's kind of
Crayon.
it's a style and it's a skill. It works for me
Mhm.
because I'm very conversational on stage,
But
even
when-
with my material. So it kind of doesn't seem
When you
strange.
get asked to host, it's kind of like automatic that you got to do.
It's the best way to learn.
I know, and so
Yeah,
I'm
it's the best way to
gonna
learn.
do some more this year, but it's been one of my weaker suits.
Maybe next year.
Well, and you may get good at it, you may not. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I said, it's just a weird skill.
I'm
But
good
a lot
at
of
it, but I
audience,
never do it.
you're very good at it, but you won't do it. It's very weird. But a lot of clubs don't want it anyway. I mean, I've come
a
into
lot of time maybe, or
no, I've just come into clubs and they've said, don't do crowd work, just do your material. And it's like, yeah, well, tell that to somebody who can't do crowd work well.
yeah.
And I've got material too. I got lots of that, but this is how I
the
like
only
to
reason
do
I'm
it.
telling you that is because somebody came into the room
It was terrible.
and did terribly at it. Now they don't want people to do
But
it.
I always
Yeah.
feel like it's better when you engage. It's like when anything, when you teach a class or whenever you engage the audience,
Uh-huh.
they're more attuned. Like
That's
when-
why they'll
when-
tell me anything.
Right?
Because they think I'm their friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Fools.
Really not, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's just my persona. On stage.
So I'm really interested in the married thing. So well,
Is this gonna get
Jeez.
creepy? This is gonna get so creepy
Yeah,
so
maybe it is,
fast. Oh my gosh.
I told you I had dibs. I had dibs when they walked in here. And here you go.
Again, now he's awake.
I'm really interested in married thing. How many horrible evenings have started that way?
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in the entertainment industry.
Wait, let me-
Sure you guys have never heard that before. I'm kind of interested.
Let me rephrase that.
Okay?
Yeah. So
Can I have a
Phrase
piece
it
of
in the
your
form of a
hair?
question.
as a married couple doing comedy together, let me give you a little background. So the reason I got into comedy is because I retired, and my wife, after a couple of years, said, "Dude, you got to get out of the house and go do something."
Okay.
And so she never got into
So what-
comedy.
And she
went-
hated
got-
you,
you went
so
and
she
got
told
married
you
to
to do
somebody else.
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So where I'm going with that is like she would come every night. She'd come and watch
Okay.
me do
Too
comedy.
personal.
Wait a minute. And
Finish
so
the sentence.
she would accompany me to the comedy club.
Oh, there we go.
Performed comedy.
Yeah.
And so on the way home it was, dude, don't do that joke again. Or, that joke sucked. And so it was like a critique.
She sounds horrible.
No, she was great.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
said-
Was?
Yeah, she was great.
Masochist.
Oh, why did you lead with that? You should have led
Yeah,
with
we're-
that.
no,
Now I
yeah.
look like a total jerk.
Yeah.
Oh my
Bashing.
Okay.
I want.
No, she's great.
I have nothing to do with it.
So anyway, get past that part.
Yeah. So.
can't. I have so many questions. Go
but
ahead.
It was just a short marriage. It was only 44 years.
Oh.
So, but so she was very good. She was very, very funny. She would say that had a very dry sense of humor. She never really thought she was a comedian type, but I remember one thing that sticks in my mind is when she'd get mad at me, she'd say, "If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all." No, that's not. Edit this part out. I didn't even do
No,
that right.
leave
No.
it in.
And she would say, "If you can't be nice, then don't be nice at all."
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's how it. But, so it kind of, I was really intrigued when in the stuff I got for tonight's show,
Right.
it said that you guys were a married couple, because I thought, how does that work? I mean, do you guys critique each other's material?
Yeah.
Do you
Sure.
guys write together? and
other
stuff?
We
I'll
don't.
come up with a joke once in a while that I couldn't possibly use because
Yeah,
it's just nobody would buy it coming out of me.
Yeah.
And if it's right for her, she'll use it.
And then I'll do
vice
the
versa.
same thing. Yeah, if I come up with something, I'll say that's more you. That's not me at all. And then sometimes somebody will just say something funny, and then we kind of just go off on we start riffing. I don't know. Is that what the kids say these days? We'll wind up kind of helping each other, but mostly no. It's very weird. We keep it all kind of separate. We know each other so well though that let's say he's not feeling great or whatever, and he's speaking slowly or quicker than usual or something like that. I can tell, nobody else can tell, but he'll come off stage and I'll say, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And then he'll do the same thing with me. But mostly we just keep out of it.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's really
So
weird.
like when
I
you
don't
watch
know.
each other bomb on stage, is it?
I don't know. What's
Remember
that?
that?
No,
I
it's
can't
never
remember
happened.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, hold the phone.
Wow, you guys got this
It's the
down.
worst thing
You guys
in
are
the
like,
world.
you guys are like, all right,
It's-
if they
I have
ask.
to tell you,
Yeah.
watching the other person bomb is actually worse than bombing yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because when you're bombing yourself, the whole time you're up there, at least, I mean, I'm this way, I don't know if other people are this way, but the whole time I'm up there, I'm just thinking, I'm gonna pull this out, I'm gonna figure it out, something's gotta work.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm kind of scheming, trying to figure out how to turn the bomb around.
Yeah.
But when you're watching the other person,
Yeah.
you're just totally helpless. And
Yeah.
it's luckily it doesn't happen
I mean,
very
you
often.
just started laughing really loud.
No, never laugh.
Just one person.
No, I mean we'll laugh if, like if one of us does a joke and it doesn't go well.
Yeah,
You know, that's
yeah.
funny.
Now that's
One
funny.
joke
Yeah.
is funny. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, not funny.
Not
no,
funny.
it's not funny at all.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible feeling. Yeah.
How long did it take to get to 30 minutes?
Oh wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
A good 30 minutes?
I remember.
Yeah, good.
A good
I
30 minutes,
remember-
I would say a couple of years. A good 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
I remember
Yeah.
writing the first 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever, and then I remember it being a real struggle to get to 20. And I wanted 20 because I wanted the feature, I wanted middle, I wanted the mouth, I didn't want to open anymore. And then you go from 20 to you want to get at least
Headline.
40.
Right.
But 20 took about, gosh,
20
20 took
takes-
about 2, 3
I would say
days.
the first
Did it
30
really?
minutes takes
Sure.
a while. It takes a while to
And that's
get.
like your strategy.
Yeah.
You're talking about every day or open mics, or like how many open mics did you do?
Oh, in
in
Phil-
the
we
old
came up in the
days.
Philadelphia market, so
Yeah.
we were
At
able
the
to do,
in the comedy boom.
yeah,
It was
we
in
were
the
able to do
80s.
Wednesdays at the Works, Thursday at the Works, Friday night at the
Yeah.
Outlets. There was a Sunday gig for a while.
This
I
is in
remember,
Philly,
I remember one time I was so proud of myself because I had strung together like I think 7 consecutive nights in the first year or so, and I was like, yes, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, but when we started, we had that. In fact, this time, it's a funny thing with Vegas. You know, we always tell people it's actually a really good place to start because under normal circumstances, there's a lot of good places. I mean,
lot.
there's a lot of places to get on stage.
Not all good.
Not all good, but there's a lot of
Just to
places to get on
practice.
stage.
Yep.
But you know, as I always tell people, then you have to essentially move because very few people go from the open mic scene here to the clubs on the strip. It's just
You have to go out and pay your dues. somewhere
well,
else.
I think it's like with any market. When you start out, people tend to think of you as the way you were when you started out. I mean, that was the problem we had in Philly, and then eventually we had to leave. We went to California for a while. Then we got TV shots, and then we came back, and then it was a whole different ball game. But
Yeah.
almost anywhere you have to leave, and you really have to do it in this town. You got to go.
My TV shot was I just realized that I saw it in my memories on Facebook. Oh, that's right. It was the 11th. What was the other? Like 4 days ago. Was the 7th anniversary
Of Ferguson. Yeah, it's gone by
Wow,
fast.
7 years.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, really.
What? Was there a comedy club you went to out there? Or
What?
Just the anniversary of it?
Oh no, he
No,
did
no,
his TV show. He did the Late Show.
Late
Oh,
show.
Late
oh,
Show,
yes.
rather. Yeah,
Ferguson
yeah,
was
yeah.
shooting.
No.
Wow. Just turned the corner.
That's a real downer.
Comedy to politics. I'm like, this.
I think Craig
Wow.
Ferguson.
I can't keep
Yeah,
up.
we did the Ferguson show.
Comedy.
I can't keep
Kept
up.
going.
Yeah.
You know,
How do you keep up with that?
I'm going.
I'm like, oh man.
How do I rescue this?
It's like we both went to Temple University.
Oh my God.
And when we'll say something, we both went to Temple, and people are like, "You're Jewish?" It's like we always forget there's another
Yeah.
meaning to like every single word.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah.
Double.
Been so long. How long's Ferguson been gone from the show? I mean,
5 years.
5 years?
Nobody remembers.
Oh, that's
Actually-
right, because I was one of the last ones. I think he quit the following year.
Because of
So-
you.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because
Yeah,
of that.
'cause of you.
Yeah.
I truly think he's one of the funniest guys alive.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Scottish
that guy.
boy. Yeah.
I know, he is just absolute. You know, I'm an older guy, so I have to
Yeah.
get to bed early, but I'd
Uh-huh.
stay up just to watch his show.
Wow,
Because I can't
that's
figure out how to do the DVR. So I gotta watch it live.
Technology.
It's just
Jeez.
getting sadder.
how are you handling all this?
You know, how are you handling all
People
this?
just tell me where to go, where to sit.
Okay, good.
I just go there. I'm unsupervised now, so it's like harder.
I know. We heard earlier. Oh, I'm
So,
never gonna forgive you for
How,
that.
how did you get the Ferguson show?
Did I get the Ferguson?
Actually, no. I'll tell the story you don't know.
Okay.
He no. He
I see how the relationship works.
Well, because I could see with the look in his eyes, and he was like, I don't remember how it happened.
Mule deer
No, he came up.
headlights.
He was working on the 5. He decided he wanted to do a late night show, and he worked on the 5 minutes. And we had just done Last Comic Standing.
All right.
So we had a little bit of buzz because he made the semis. We had a little bit of buzz because of Last Comic Standing. And so he put together the 5, went to a local club, recorded the 5 minutes, and then we sent it out to a couple of different comedians who did a lot of late night shows, just say, could you critique this? And one of them sent it into the producer of Ferguson, and they called him up immediately and said, pick a date. And that's basically how it happened.
There's actually like, I was watching on YouTube, there's like a montage of all the times you guys have been called out. Have you guys
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
that was my.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
What is that?
Rick Dees.
Just
and,
introduced.
Introduced to
cool.
all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
cool
yeah.
places.
Rick Dees,
Yeah.
Bill Boggs, Rick Dees.
Yeah.
All the
Mulrooney,
old
John
days.
Mulrooney, yeah,
Oh my
yeah, yeah.
God. Yeah.
Fox
yeah.
Comic
all
Strip
our,
Live.
All our
Yeah.
TV credits have mold on them.
And I
They're
did Fox
very
Comic Strip
old.
Live when it was actually live. It
Long
went out
time
to the
ago.
8 owned and operated Fox affiliates that were throughout.
And you know, it's funny. That's the one advantage that we have over like younger comics now is because, like I said, we started out in the '80s, and back then there was tons of TV. There was Evening at the
Evening at the
Improv,
Improv,
and
Comedy
there
on the
was
Road,
Comedy on the Road,
VH1
VH1
Stand-Up
Stand-Up
Spotlight.
Spotlight, and all that stuff. And so we were lucky early on. We got all those shows,
nice is
and
that?
Star Search. You
Star
did Star
Search.
Search.
Oh.
I mean.
I helped kill Star Search.
Just like Ferguson. He's the kiss of death. This podcast, by the way, is over like in 2 hours.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, bring it
Wrap it
on.
up.
Yeah, before we're
Yeah, we did last comic standing. It's gone like
Gone.
the next year. So we're just like when they run out of everybody,
They get
Yeah,
us.
they
and
call
then that's
us.
the end of the show.
And that's
So,
the end of the show.
It's a
yeah.
finale
It
though.
is.
I,
It's
that's what
the
it
next
is.
Final
positive.
season for that.
That's what it is.
I only auditioned for one show and I didn't make it. It was Last Comic Standing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
messed up.
that's what we did. We did last comic
That's
standing.
messed up.
Well, oh, because you're not.
Oh,
Yes.
I get it.
We don't know. You were sleeping.
I mean, my
I thought that was a really.
Have anything
Yeah,
else
just thought you
nice
had
to
to
say?
I know.
Why don't
You're
we hear
running.
you
You're turning me into an evil person.
man, I'm moving
No,
away.
he's just revealing that you're evil.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
There's
Good
a song
point.
about you.
Yeah.
Turning you into evil.
Yeah, when we did, talking about marriage, when we did Last Comic Standing, gosh, that's like 8 or 9 years ago. It's coming up on a while. But the two of us made, I don't remember if you remember how the show formatted, but he'd come in and audition during the day, and then you would either go up on stage in New York or LA. So we were in New York. And we competed against each other. And all they wanted us to do was fight. The producers,
Reality television.
they wanted us.
Sparks, fireworks.
Oh, so they would pull us aside and interview us for hours and hours and try to get us to say bad things about each other. And I would like every time I pull him and say, "Don't you dare say anything!" But, you keep this upbeat.
I'll
and,
bring up your underwear.
Yeah, one time he yelled, "Divorce!" I was like, "Oh, you idiot! That's how to get on." And it did. But we just didn't play the game, and so we thought he wound up making the semifinals. I didn't make it out that night, but. We thought, oh, this is going to be, but they put together such a lovely piece on us.
Beautiful
It was-
package.
It was really nice about how we were supportive, and so I thought we were going to get cutting room floor, but they actually went
how exciting.
positive, which is weird for reality television.
Never.
but
So,
they did.
so if the audience, if the viewers wanted to see that, could they go out on YouTube and look for it?
I think it might be up
think,
on Funny or Die.
No, I put it on
still.
Funny or Die, but I think it's gone from Funny or Die. I think I put it on Vimeo, and it's out there somewhere.
They keep taking it down because we don't have.
'Cause it's NBC, yeah.
Because it's NBC.
NBC's
and
real
so-
strict about that stuff.
Yeah,
Are they
so
really?
they take it
It's
down.
really stupid because
Yeah, I'm surprised
It's
some
not
of
even on the air
some of the
anymore.
stuff you say on the YouTube they haven't censored because I loved it. I was dying.
Okay,
What?
so
I think what was it, the one about
no.
how to get out of a ticket or something like that?
Oh, that's dirty. Don't say that.
It was. I mean, I spent my
sure,
water
bring
out.
up stuff.
Spit take.
Yeah, that's a classic.
But see, like that's what
Well, okay.
you know.
so-
Like that's what I was going back to. Like, yeah, you can't do certain material now.
Oh, I see what you
Oh,
mean.
I see, right?
what you mean,
Like when I
yeah.
was saying earlier, like
Is that out on YouTube?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff
There's a
going
bunch
on
of
you
YouTube.
guys got to watch it. You can't say it on here, but it's so awesome.
Oh, and
It
don't
is
forget
so
to listen
funny.
to our podcast.
Oh yeah.
So
Go for
all right,
it.
so
The Shecky
plug it.
Magazine podcast.
Plug it. Let's
It's
hear it.
everywhere.
How do
Yeah.
they find your podcast?
Oh, everywhere
Shecky
we're
Magazine,
fine.
one word. Shecky Magazine. SHECKY Magazine, one
Slower.
word. Shecky
S-
Magazine podcast.
spell it again.
SHECKY Magazine. One word.
S-H-E.
Like
That was our
Shecky Green.
magazine.
He's still trying to
Shecky
pronounce
Green.
it.
Remember
He's like,
Shecky-
I just want to get the names right.
Shecky Green?
Yep.
Okay, so it's Shecky Magazine.
We had a magazine online,
Sheckymagazine.com.
1999.
That was our
Cool.
thing for
Back
15
when,
years. We
yeah,
had.
back before there was even blogs and stuff, we had a magazine, quote unquote, online. We upload content once a month, interviews with stand-up comics and stuff like
It was
that.
very popular.
Really?
Yeah, and we got a book deal out of it
16
too.
years.
So we actually,
Nice.
which was nice. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know we were going to
Yeah.
be sitting here with celebrities.
Oh, I know.
Phil didn't tell you, or Isaac didn't
Isaac
tell you?
can tell. We don't know where he is.
He's in the Filipino buffet.
There is he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to
Still,
watch this. We got any
another 2
messages
weeks.
for him?
Oh, you guys did laying down.
Oh, that's right. Lying about stand-up.
Lying about-
we did,
yeah.
yeah.
I like
That was
that.
crazy.
Well,
yes,
you know
it was
what?
a video.
Okay,
A
we
video,
were very early on. 'Cause that was a
podcast.
long time ago.
A vodcast,
It was like a
yeah.
vlog. Is that what the kids call
7
it?
years ago.
A long time ago,
When
yeah.
did Michael Jackson die?
And so.
Oh, it was more than 10 years ago. So we did one on Michael Jackson's death. Yeah, we'd lay on the floor, the two of
Yeah.
us,
Lie on the floor.
and it went lie on the floor, and there was the camera. We put the camera on top of us, shooting down. I don't know.
And it was called lying about stand-up. So we would just lie down on the ground and we'd talk about stand-up. And we mostly did it because a lot of times we'll talk about stand-up lying in bed.
Yeah.
But people were so creepy about the whole thing.
Yeah.
We would just put it up and everybody would be like, hey, well, she's down there. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
God, just knock it off. And I just got really annoyed and we stopped. People are awful.
And then we used the
I
same
hate
format
people.
for recreating the John and Yoko cover. So maybe they were still
Yeah,
flashing
maybe.
back
I know.
then.
We've done all kinds of weird stuff.
You can't just hit and run. What you did a John and Yoko?
We did.
Yeah, remember the John and Yoko Rolling Stone cover?
Where
We recreated it.
where
Really?
John Lennon is naked and
Yeah.
Yoko's fully clothed.
She had
This is
black
the
hair at the
genius. I had black hair at the time. The genius at the time. I thought, well, this would be a fun photo just to sort of, for promotional material and
So
stuff.
we figured we'd videotape it from above, and then we would take a screen cap when we got the right position for the body, because it's very hard. I don't know if you remember the photo. So we took the video, and then we watched the video later on.
It was
I said,
hilarious.
This is hysterical.
Because it was very difficult to get that
So we
position.
edited it down.
Yeah, it was really. But the weird part is he's naked.
Yeah.
And so when you watch it on a little screen, we were like, okay, well this is good because nothing naughty has gotten in
Yeah,
there.
yes.
And then we put it up on a large screen television. I actually had to sit there with a clipboard and like a timer and be like, you gotta fuzz it out at the 2-second mark.
Yes.
It's like, uh-oh, naughty bits.
That's
You have to-
hilarious.
Yeah, and then we actually had to like put a ball.
Yeah, he's like, tell me more about
But
your
it's
marriage.
up on YouTube. It's very funny.
There's a
I
little
was-
smudge circle there.
yeah,
where-
it's very funny. Yeah, it is. It's very funny.
Which bit?
Also, because like Yoko, right? There's so much background behind her. Ooh.
Well, I was okay taking the part of Yoko because I had my clothes on,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
the genius
Yeah.
here. But yeah, we used to make short films.
I made the
and
sacrifice.
Now we. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was much
He's
younger
thin.
then.
He's thin. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh my God.
And now we podcast. So every now and then we go through these weird phases where we do
Yeah.
stuff,
So
different
what do
stuff.
you do on your
Yeah,
podcast?
stuff.
With just
We talk.
Well, we
Okay.
mostly talk
We
about
did one
stand-up.
March 17th, which
I mean,
was the
that's-
first day of lockdown. We did another one April
Well, we had been doing it prior to that.
18th. Oh yeah, we did. So we
We
started last
mostly talk
September.
about stand-up.
So it's been over a year.
Yeah.
I think we have 18 episodes.
Yeah, but what we wanted to try to capture, and I think we have, is when we used to write for the magazine, our magazine, and we write our books, we collaborate. And so when you do that, there's a lot of talking involved before we actually sit down and start writing. So I said for the podcast, I want to make it, I want that process. Basically, like how we would talk about things prior to actually putting them on paper,
Yeah.
cyber paper. And so that's what we do. Yeah, so we, it's fun.
awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's
I'm
actually
tuning
good.
in.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
it's very
I didn't
funny.
even know. I got a
You
really.
got no information
I
about
got no
us. You
information. I
didn't
got
even
your
know.
name spelled wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't even have your name. It's like, oh my God.
All you knew is you guys were married. That's,
That's
why.
okay.
And that
And it
interesting.
came out really weird.
next thing you know,
I was there.
I remember.
I was there. I remember.
Awkward moment. But all right, Drag. Where are we going from here?
So what's your guys' strategy on writing? Are you guys like a sit down, nail it out, I'm gonna get 10 jokes until I can?
No.
Or are you guys just, all right, it's gonna come to me, write it down?
Yes. And then try to figure it out.
So you guys are like, you always carry something in your pocket or something, or what? How does-
We have each other. Make sure you
that's
write that
so
down.
awesome. That's
good.
great.
Make sure you write that down.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that's
Write
great
stuff
about
down.
it. Write
That's
stuff
huge.
down. That's very funny. Write it down. We
You
do
know,
that to each other
even if
all
it's
the
not
time.
funny, if it's going to lead to something
Right.
funny.
You know what? It's a funny thing. We went through our comedy notebooks back when we were still doing comedy, and mostly just for an organizational thing. But it was really interesting to kind of like go through old notes because we hold on to everything. I've got everything from 30 years ago. And I remember looking at a joke that I had been doing 30 years ago, stopped doing it because it never really got that much. I always had faith in it, but never got that much. And then 30 years later, I looked at it and said, that's the joke.
Yeah.
Like I figured out,
Different set of eyes.
and I put it with a joke friend, as we always say. Jokes usually do better with a joke friend.
Yep.
And I put it with a joke friend.
What
and
does that
then-
mean?
Well, it means you have you have two jokes maybe of like similar sensibilities, and sometimes if you do something like that first, it'll make the second joke
Right.
Yeah.
a little bit stronger because it's kind of like a joke setup to the other joke.
For sure.
And so sometimes things work better in pairs, and it was really interesting to like go through old stuff,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and just say never
Binder,
throw out
oh.
anything.
Oh,
Never
tons
throw out
of
anything.
stuff.
I mean, how many binders?
No, but we don't have it's like
Holders, really?
yeah. But my notes are terrible, and sometimes
Little pieces of
we'll
paper.
sit there for like days and be like, what does that even mean? Like,
Yeah.
you
What is
remember
this?
anything? What does that mean?
You turn it upside down.
Yeah. there it
So
is.
I haven't been doing comedy for that long, but when I started, I was writing everything down.
Okay.
And then, but I had a hard time because I do my best comedy just before I go to sleep. in my
Okay,
bed. I
right.
do really great sets. And so by the time you wake up,
Because you're.
You have to have your notebook next
I
to
know,
your
well,
bed.
I couldn't do that
he's
because I-
semi-conscious, and when if he wakes up, it's not going to be
I
funny
know,
at all.
exactly. But it's hilarious when you're just about ready
Well, if
to.
only the audience were half asleep, you'd be fine.
You should put him in the audience. You'd kill.
So what I did was I bought a little personal recorder.
Ah, there
Well,
you
there,
go.
yeah, well, there you
And
go.
that works out well.
Well, that's
If I-
perfect. Yeah,
If I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
do the whole thing, at least I'll put key words in there to remind me. Because
Yes.
you wake up the next morning,
Oh, you don't know.
that's like,
No.
that was
No.
hilarious, but I
You
can't
don't know.
remember what I said.
We will spend days trying to figure out, and then it'll just be, what was that thing
I
that
think
you
there's-
said
I
in
think
the
there's-
kitchen? What
I think
was
there's
that?
at least 3 awesome jokes that I wrote and said, I will write that down.
No, it never.
Never wrote it down, and
And they're gone.
I
They're
agreed.
gone.
It's up in the
agreed to this
comedy
day.
ether.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it'll come down on somebody else.
That's what caused me to get the little recorders.
Yeah.
Because I had the same experience.
I got 3 of those.
I had the best stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, that's why you do. And like I said, and even if you don't think something is that good, because I kind of have a rule where I'll do things 3 times on stage, and if it doesn't work by the 3rd time, I kind of
It's
just
gone.
like it's not gone.
Or it's
I
gone
put
to
it
the
away.
archives.
It's gone to the
Hooray.
archives. And then every now and then you'll just revisit things, and you'll say, oh, I flipped those words, and suddenly it works. you
Is
know?
are all your notes nicely organized?
Oh my God, it's the worst. Oh my God, it's the worst.
I
It's
did a thing.
his are so much better than mine.
I did the
I'm
Minneapolis
awful.
Grand. What is the Minneapolis
Ugh.
Grand Revision? Where I got all my notes. We were in a hotel in Minneapolis for like a week, and I took everything and I typed it all out in all cap letters. And that was about 20 pages long.
Wow.
But that wasn't.
He does what he
That's a
does,
fraction of
and
what I
people
have.
think this is really weird because it's very old school.
Oh,
It's not even old school. I don't even know where it comes from. He has magnet boards everywhere, and when he comes up with a joke, he prints it out on a magnet, and then he puts it on the magnet board, and then he can move the
That way
magnets.
I could move it physically. I could move the
Yeah.
set. I could create
Yeah.
a set because I was.
Yeah, so he'll have
That
a
is
clean, he'll have a
awesome.
clean magnet board and a dirty magnet board and a corporate
Yeah.
magnet board and
So
and new stuff, old stuff.
I have a label maker, so I
Okay.
make the label, and then I have magnet ribbon. So I stick it on the ribbon, and I cut it, and then that becomes a magnet.
Oh,
And I have
that's
I have
awesome.
like
Yeah,
several hundred of
yeah.
those.
Because
on
then
a
you can
board.
visualize the whole.
Yes.
Yeah, and he
the
can
whole
move it
set.
I
around.
had
And
no
of course
idea.
you could do it on a computer too. But
Yeah.
he
Yeah, I know. I
tends to-
tried doing it with Slack. I tried doing it with a couple other
Yeah.
apps, and it
Doesn't-
just wasn't the same. I wanted something physical. For a while, I thought I was going to get those blocks that you stick together, and I was going to
That's
put
a
the
good
labels on the blocks, and that way I could build in
That's
3D.
pretty big. Yeah. But yeah, so he's got magnets everywhere.
That's a great idea because I'm very visual and I need.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's what he is. In fact, there's a name for that, right? When you learn, I forget. There's actually like people learn better. Some people
Yeah.
learn better in like 3D, and he's one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might be one of
I
those
might
too.
be one of those too because
Yeah.
if somebody tries to sit and explain something to me,
Ah.
if I can't see it,
Well, you could be a moron.
I've been accused of that.
Guess
Put
that's
that
still
on your tape
table.
tonight. He said I was a moron.
That's going on my board. That's going to be, you are a moron.
Where do I go with this?
True.
Remember this.
No, it's a funny thing though, because so everything, if he has these magnet boards, everything's cooked down to one word. So the joke will be hospital, or the joke
Yeah.
will be, something. So one night I was backstage. We were doing the Punchline in Atlanta, and he wanted me to tape something for him. I think you were putting together like a 5-minute set or something. So I was recording the actual times that he was doing. I'm sitting back in the green room, and so I write down an entire list of everything he does with the times. And he comes off stage. He's like, "What the heck is all this stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, that's your secretary joke." He's like, "That's not called secretary. That's called office." I had renamed all of his jokes with one word,
Oh,
and
that's
he
a
had
nightmare.
absolutely no idea what I was
So
talking
it's pointless.
about.
Everything you did was pointless.
Yeah, totally
How funny.
pointless. So we had to go
I
through
would
the
do
whole
that.
thing, and we had to put it in with the name that he wanted.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, it was really funny.
We
It's
all
just
have-
like,
It's-
how do you not call that secretary? That's
It's
secretary.
the cue word that you use to remember the joke.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
You
know,
know,
it was funny.
my first moron, and everything I do from there on is going to be wrapped around moron.
Aren't you glad we came here?
I'm so glad. Thank you, Isaac.
Wherever you are, wherever you are.
Drop that buffet fork.
Yeah. No, it's weird. Like, we're going back to like sleeping with a notebook. Have you guys ever thought of an idea, and then it cascades, and you're up for like 2 or 3 hours?
I'm the worst. He can sleep through it. I'm terrible.
I sign off.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
She goes like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
One idea, and
And then
I'm
boom.
up. I'm up.
And then you lay back down, and you're like, oh,
No,
I can
I'm
add
up.
a tag to that.
Yeah. Once my mind starts racing,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
See, well,
What a
okay.
dark
This is what the
circles under the
ADD
eyes.
generation does. You know?
I
You know?
probably do have
The
that.
ADD where you're just like,
I
"Ah,"
know.
and your
I'm
mind
sure.
goes- yeah.
Probably do.
That's my mind starts to race just before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
But then if I get up, if I got up like you do and
Yeah.
try to start writing, I forget it all. So I don't know why. But
Well,
it's like-
then, but it's interesting because then you got the recorder.
Yep.
And so we always try to tell people that, you have to do what works best
Exactly.
for you. If you're the kind of person who gets up every day, and I was just reading about Kurt Vonnegut. I'm a big Kurt Vonnegut fan,
Oh, yeah.
and he would actually use his writing as like a 9-to-5 job. He would get up
Yeah.
and he would
Seinfeld,
write.
too.
He would write all day long. That works for him.
Yeah.
Other people, they pop open and sometimes I do my best writing because I'll write things besides just stand up. And I'll do my best work at 2 a.m. because I'm
Yeah.
inspired. I mean, so you have
What
to.
is that? What is that? Like,
I don't know.
Is it because I have the same thing. I'll be up
I've
at
always been
2 or 3
Night
hours.
owl. You've always been a
Yeah,
night
you
owl.
haven't lately though. You've gotten more like
Lately I've
9
shifted
to
to
5.
mornings,
He's
yeah.
like shifted.
Yeah.
We mostly just did that to deal with the lockdown. We shifted to morning people just so we didn't go crazy because otherwise I would have been up every night until 4 or 5
So
o'clock in the
now-
morning
yeah.
worrying. I do my best worrying in the
Yeah,
middle of the
I've been
night.
writing
So
at
now I try to
5
get
for the
up.
last
Yeah.
week or so.
Yes, we
It's really
shifted
weird.
that. But you have to do what's best for you. And as long as you're getting stuff done, it doesn't really
So
doesn't
that's
really
the hard
matter.
part. It's like, I got a family of 4 at the house, and I sleep at work, and
Oh, well, that's
so
not
I'm like
That's not
exhausted.
working.
But like then I'm like, whether I lay down or write,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be up because I'm gonna be
Okay.
thinking about I need to get up. And write.
right.
So I'm just like, oh, I just might as well.
Well, then you
blah,
just
blah,
get up
blah.
and just do something. Yeah, you
Exactly.
have to do what works.
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's
We
good.
wrote a book about stand up, and unfortunately, it's called the Comedy Bible. But there was another Comedy Bible that
The
wasn't
Comedy
our
Bible, the
deal.
complete resource for aspiring
comedians.
It
That was the publisher's idea. We fought that, but
we were scrolling around on Amazon, and I looked up our book because they have it, but it's out of stock. And we found our book, but it was a different version from China. They had basically just
No way.
they just ripped it off.
ripped our book off. So I wrote to Amazon and said, "This is our book. We own the rights to this book. Get rid of it."
And they got rid of
They
it.
got rid of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but
I
we
mean,
also
we
have
had-
there's also a British version of our book,
Wait.
which is called Comedy Techniques. They just changed the name over in England.
But it's all
And-
the same stuff.
But
Yeah.
it's basically the same stuff, except
So
they would.
Is there another American version of the Comedy
Well,
Yeah,
Judy Carter had
right.
written a thing called the Comedy Bible many
Right.
years ago.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so we told them that, but they had written a whole series. There was like the music Bible, the comedy, so they had us write the
Yeah,
comedy
the publisher
Bible, whatever.
said that's the name and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but in England it's really funny because we have a copy of that book. They'll change things we mentioned elevator, they'll change it to lift, that sort of thing. So they made
Color
those.
is spelled C-O-L.
Yeah, so they changed the colors, and I always
How
say that we
could you
sound
guys-
much smarter in
Did
the
you guys
English
get
version.
hooked up for that?
Well, we were writing
Yeah.
the magazine at the time, and it was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And we got an email, and I said, in fact, we were visiting Vegas for
Yeah,
the
that's
World
where
Series.
we were in Vegas.
And,
We were living in Philly.
I said to her, we're in the hotel room at the Alexis Park. I said, I got an email from some publisher in England. I think they want us to write about a book that they're publishing. And then I read, like 2 days later, I got another email. I said, I got another email from those publishers. I think they want us to write something, a chapter or something in a book. And then I got a third one. I said, wait a minute, you might want to see this email from the publisher. They want us to write an entire book. Okay.
Nice.
So we signed all the contracts by mid-December, and then we went on a bunch of cruises, and we wrote a book in how many days? 80
10
days?
weeks. No, it was I think 10 weeks start to finish. But we were doing cruises at the time, and we were packing up
Oh
all our
my
belongings to move here. And so we were writing it everywhere. We were writing it on cruise ships. We were writing it in hotel rooms as we're
Coffee
dragging all our
shops and
belongings across the country. Yeah, we were
That's awesome.
coffee shops in Mexico.
That's right,
We were like
we wrote a lot
just
of mini-
everywhere.
We got a
Yeah.
book in 10 weeks.
Yeah, it was really fast. It was really fast.
I love the book too.
It's good though. I like it. It's not 100% what we would have done had we not
No.
we had directions, we had certain criteria agree that we had a meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they laid
You
out the
know.
chapter, said, write this, this, this.
But we got the rights back to it.
Yeah, they
And
rights reverted to
so
us
we're
when
gonna
they
do a
stopped
Kindle.
publishing it.
We're gonna do a Kindle version, and then we're gonna do kind of like
That's
a
awesome.
director's cut,
Oh,
and
nice.
you know what I mean, and then
Yeah,
add
for
on
sure.
to it and write.
I look forward to seeing
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to do that
Yeah, it's a
soon.
funny book.
Yeah,
It's
it's good.
weird too. We learned a lot writing the book. One of the chapters they wanted us to write was about clowns. I said, clowns in a
We
book
can't.
about stand-up? Well, that's ridiculous. We're not going to do that. And then we started researching clowns, and then we
We're like,
realized
yeah,
we're all pretty much
we're
clowns.
all pretty much clowns.
Yeah, just been-
We all came from clowns.
Laugh
Yeah.
now,
We all
cry
descended
later.
from clowns.
Yeah,
People,
yeah.
some of us are
Right.
closer to clowns. Carrot Top, for instance, fits much more close to the definition of a clown
Yeah.
than most
He's
stand-ups do.
hilarious.
But
Oh, he's
we all
great.
came
Yeah.
from the original clowns
Yeah.
We interviewed his
centuries ago.
his warm-up guy a couple
Rob.
weeks ago.
Mhm.
Show. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have hair yet?
Pardon?
Does he have hair yet? Did you just ask that question? He's
The warm-up guy?
Hey,
That's Rob.
Whoa, whoa. I didn't mean it, Rob.
Oh, look, it's my favorite, Spam Risk.
Spam Risk. I used to do
Sorry.
open mics with Spam Risk.
I know, right? That was my first girlfriend. Who didn't turn off my phone?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Spam Risk.
And my
He's a
wife,
great stripper
telemarketer. Tell it.
Tell friends.
Is there anything?
So cut that out of there, will you?
Yeah.
Keep it in.
Keep it in.
Keep it
Spam
all in.
Risk.
Keep it all
See you here
in.
after the
It's
show.
real life. Come on, it's real life.
That's bad hosting.
Rob Sherwood.
This is a
I
Ferguson
told her not to
show.
call me here.
Yeah.
So you're talking
I
about
should-
Sherwood.
I
Rob?
should have. Oh yeah, I can be on. Oh yeah, I can be on the Tonight Show. No
This is
problem.
Tickle Me podcast.
Hello.
Comedy.
Tickle Me podcast.
Yeah.
How may I help you?
Go for Tickle Me podcast.
Go, you're on.
Yeah.
You're live.
Yeah.
Look, we got a question.
You're a moron.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang up and I'll listen.
No, Mom, I turned off the lights. Okay?
Long time watcher, first time
Yeah.
caller.
Go for more on.
Wish we did have phone calls. That'd be
I know,
fun.
right? That'd be
Go
fun.
right
We're gonna maybe we'll start that. Maybe we'll do call in. People can call
Yeah.
in and.
Isaac could call in.
Tell us where
Yeah.
it is.
With the buffet report.
Maybe that was him. He likes
How's the
spam.
baby corns?
It might have been him.
I told him not to talk
Spam
with his
Risk.
mouth full, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna call him.
Yeah.
That's his stage name, Spam.
Spam
Risk.
Risk. It should
Yeah.
be. We're just gonna make a career for him. I like it.
awesome.
So where were we?
We were talking about Rob Sherwood.
Rob Sherwood.
Yes.
that's right.
That was an awesome interview. He's a very funny guy.
Really? Why is he hiding it? It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
I had to.
Why is he? That's awesome.
I had to draw him out of the comedy closet so to tell him that he was funny because he was unsure of himself.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
I almost like. I think I got a palpitation when you said. Hi Rob.
He was very humble.
This is a side of Rob I've never seen.
Oh, you said Rob. Oh,
We've
okay.
known Rob for a long time. We
That
like
was it.
Rob.
But I have to all the comics that we've interviewed over the last 28 episodes. You know, Isaac and I started this in my office at my house.
Okay.
And it was just he and I, and we were. It was called Chillin' with Isaac and Dillon.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
then we thought, wait, we'll do something bigger. So we just keep getting bigger. And then we started interviewing comics, and we haven't interviewed a dud comic yet.
A dud comic or a
Dud
dead
comic.
comic? I thought you were saying a
Dud.
dead
Seance.
comic.
Okay.
Okay.
Robin Williams up here.
Oh, yeah.
Like Weekend at Bernie's.
One of the things there's a joke in there that I can't say, but
Don't even reference it. Come on.
Okay.
Keep it moving.
keep it moving. So, and what has
Let's
really
see what you guys work.
what has really intrigued me is so many different styles of comics.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and it's just amazing that you interview so many people and everybody has their own little way of doing things. It's awesome. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, it would be very boring business if we
It's-
were
I
all
know,
exactly the
And
same.
there's especially more variance among the people that have been doing it longer because they've spent more and more time trying to differentiate themselves. It's like being in a family of 13 children. You want to differentiate yourself from all your
Oh,
siblings. So there's so many of us. We had to figure out a way to be different from all the rest.
Oh no, in my family, I come from a family of 6. We didn't want to be different because it took my mom whoever she was going to yell at was going to be the last name that she got to. So you didn't want to stick your head up and be noticed, because you should go right through to find out. I'll figure out who you are.
This is gonna be another sad story.
Yeah.
And how was your mother?
I wish we had like.
Mom gone too?
Yeah.
Is mom gone too?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
We'll get the whole family.
Wish we had music, you know, like. Wah, wah.
We tried to come in here and just be all happy
voice
and
of
upbeat.
Yeah.
Sad Trump.
This is Dillon Downer night.
Yeah. You just leave it. Yeah.
Dillon Downer.
Dillon Downer night. Gee, you should come back on a night that we're more excited.
Yeah, randomly come out with sad facts in the middle of the conversation.
We're just gonna go into the car and just start crying, weeping,
I hate
little wet
Tickle Me.
masks.
It's not tickle me tonight. It's
Yeah.
console me.
Torture me.
Torture comedy.
Oh my God. So, yeah. This turned out to be a strange night. Didn't I say that in the beginning?
Yeah.
Fault.
That's awful.
Fortunately, Roman was here to save my bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, who knows what would have happened to me?
Well,
Moron,
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
There would have been a whole bunch of more words.
you know, I never forgave you for the wife thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I never forgave you for that.
Well, you know,
Try.
yeah, that's
Say our names one more time.
your names.
I mean, tell them.
Moron, Moret.
Yeah.
Brian McKim and Traci Skene.
Yeah, Brian McKim and Stacy Skene.
Now 3 times fast.
That's what I said.
Put your glasses on. It's Traci.
I haven't showered since March. When I found out it would be video, I thought,
Who cares? It's video.
It took
This
me
is-
like 2 hours to find the curling iron. I didn't know how to make up. Now I come in here.
It
Stacy.
doesn't matter. It's on TV, so it's smell-o-vision.
Well, I just meant.
I know, right?
Just saying.
You're okay.
So about your marriage.
I don't believe it. I don't think you mean that at all.
Let's talk more about your marriage. Actually, how long have you guys been married?
We're coming up on 32 years.
Coming up on 32.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why we know each other's names.
The guy always has to remember, right? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when my wife says, "Oh, here's our anniversary."
I do have a girlfriend now.
Oh, good.
She's a nice lady.
Oh, good.
So I thought the other day, I know, right? So the other day I thought, I wonder where this relationship is going.
Where's this
So,
going?
I'm going to tell you. Stand by, it gets better.
I hope so.
She's a slinger.
I knew it. I said it was going to get creepy in the beginning.
She's under the table.
We were going to end this on a low note.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Oh, and so I thought I'd ask her if she knew my middle name. She doesn't know my middle name, so I don't think the relationship's going very far. And we've been together
He
for
doesn't
almost
have a
2
middle
years.
name.
Really?
Mhm.
NMI?
He doesn't have a middle name.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Huh,
bold.
I do,
Yep.
but
You're not even using your real first name, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Dylan.
believe, I don't believe anything about you.
No,
I know.
Downer Dillon.
Well, my last name is Dillagaf.
Okay.
Do you know what that stands for?
I don't know if I want to know.
Dilligaf.
Oh, I think I do.
Do I look like I give a,
Flying.
yep,
Flying.
Yeah. Keep it
a
clean.
frisbee?
Yeah.
You know, Roman,
Yes.
you've been with me the last couple podcasts.
Mhm.
What's the saddest
good.
thing? What's the saddest thing I have to do?
Right now?
Yeah. Bring the show
End it.
to an end,
Oh.
right?
Is this where we sing?
Say
No,
goodbye.
kumbaya. We didn't even think we were going to be
gee.
singing.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it is. It's coming up on the time for us to end this podcast. Dang it. So we really appreciate your viewership. Tell all your friends about the Tickle Me Comedy Podcast. I want to thank our guests, Traci and Brian.
Don't roll your eyes at me. I know my name.
Whoever they are. Truly, though, go out on YouTube, find their stuff, buy their book. They are. Again, I haven't seen them perform, but I'm going to make sure that I go out and see the YouTube videos.
Will you guys tell us about yourself?
Yeah. Tell us how to find you.
TraciSkene.com, TraciSkene.
BrianMcKimComedy.com, TraciSkene. Yeah, BrianMcKimComedy.com.
Just put in Brian and Traci Comedy. Put in Brian Tracy, you either get us or you get the motivational speaker named
Oh, yeah,
Brian
Brian
Tracy.
Tracy.
So that's our only
So
other
when
podcast.
are we going to see
And
you guys
Shecky
again?
Magazine podcast.
Sorry.
When are we gonna see? I don't know.
No.
When are you gonna see us again?
I don't know.
They're doing private events now for a bunch of rich folk
Yeah,
up
on
in
rooftops.
Summers.
Oh
Are
really?
they now?
That sounds horrible. Great.
No, with the crowd work, you guys would kill it. You guys would kill it.
We don't know. We might be retired. I have no idea.
Oh, gosh.
I have no idea.
So, oh, man. So, I want to thank our sponsors for tonight, Tickle Me Comedy Club and Blue Zone Comedy Tour, and our special sponsors, Asian Cultural TV. So with that, everybody, I want to say good night and thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.
Ciao.